Hello everyone, welcome to the Git course. Here we will learn from the scratch, understanding every command and real world workflow. Today we are starting with what is Git and why do developers use it. So, Git is a software. It is used to track the changes from a particular point of time. Now we will see a real world problem. Suppose, let's imagine you are working on a project. Okay, when you are working on a project, you are saving the file name as project underscore final dot v1 dot zip. Okay, then one of your teammate uh, has done some changes, or while sharing, he shared the file as project final v2 dot zip. Okay, and then your teammate sends finally the project as project final dot zip. Here, no one knows what is actually final. That is where the Git saves the day. Like suppose we have like multiple versions like v1 v2 v3 v and so on. Generally if you don't have a Git ecosystem, everything will get overridden and finally the last written file will be only visible. We don't have history of the particular file or project. We don't have any timeline for it. So to problem for this problem in the real world, we generally use for a Git. So like coming to the Git is a version control system. It keeps the tracks of all your project changes, every version, every edit. It's like a timeline. Suppose if you are doing some commit, here you have done the commit C1, and in future point of time, again you are doing the commit C2. Later point of time, again you are doing the changes C3, so on. But here, if you see here, each commit is like a timeline. Like C1 you can do one commit, C2 you can do another commit, and C3 can be time another commit. It can be it can be the same file or it can be the multiple files. Like suppose you can assume like C1 is like for version v1, C2 is like version 2, and C3 is like version 3. Here coming to it, we can maintain each and every timeline in a flow. Sometimes we want to change the C1 timeline and do the changes on the this particular commit. Means what are the changes available in the commit one. On top of it, you need to do some changes. Then you can create a branch and you can do all the changes necessary. We will discuss about the branching strategy in the later tutorials. But as of now, you can check like each commit is like a specific version which was committed. So here like Git is a distributed version control system. Every developer has a full copy of a project and it's a history. You can make the changes, track of them, and even roll to the older version if needed without relying on any other central servers. Suppose if you have committed some changes and again you have done modifications on the commit 1 and you have committed as a commit 2. If commit 2 is not working, then you can roll back to the previous version and you can deploy your changes. So generally, while working with the Git, we may come across the different areas of the Git like the working directory where our changes all are done in our local, and staging area. The staging area is the area where our changes are, after doing the changes, we will stage our changes to a staging area where the files are ready to get committed. And we have the repository. We have the remote repository as well. We will talk about it in the later tutorials. Whenever we, after doing the changes, you will do the changes or you will add your changes from working directory to the staging area, and from the staging area again you will commit your changes to the repository. Here repository, you can call it as local repository. Okay, generally from working to move the changes from, or you to add the changes from working directory to staging area, we use the command git add, and to stage them we use the git add, and to commit from staging area to the repository we use git commit. These are the mostly used commands to stage our changes and commit our messages, commit our changes to the repository. Whenever we modify the file in the working directory, we use this git add to stage our changes, and from sending the changes from staging area to repository we use the git commit. We will see about the syntax. Okay, like coming to the git, it is like a each commits is like taking a photo of your project at a particular moment. Git does not store the full file again, only the changes, what are the specific changes are done, those changes will only be tracked in the git. Let's see in the action like creating a folder in the working directory and staging our changes and committing our changes to the repository. So to see this in the action, we will open our terminal. I'm in the home directory. I'll go to the desktop. Okay, on the desktop at present we don't have any changes. Now I'll create a folder, Git Learning. If you see here, Git Learning folder has been created. You can use the Control L to clear the console in your Mac. So first I'll create a folder called git underscore my first project. Now we will go into that particular folder. First we'll check the Git version which is installed in our system. We have the 2.4.8, 2.48.1. So we don't have any files in our. Okay, I just want to move this folder to. Okay, now I am inside this Git first project. At present I don't have any folders or files inside this folder. So to track all the files inside in this particular folder, first we need to initialize the Git. To initialize the Git, we use the command called git init. Now if you see, you don't see any particular folder inside this because it is a hidden folder. So for that you can use ls minus a. If you see here, .git folder has been initialized inside this particular repository. We are in the git underscore my first project repository inside this project folder. So at present we don't have any files to add it to our working directory. So we will create one file, hello git. We will add this file hello.txt. If you see here, just a minute. I'm just entering some text and I'm saving it in a particular file. Okay. Now if you see, hello.txt file has been created. So here we discussed to check our files from working directory or send our files from working directory staging area. Just generally we use the git add command. But if you see here, nothing has been added. Maybe you wanted to add dot. Dot means the current folder. So if you see here, generally we need to use a particular command which is a git status, which shows the files which are ready to be committed or which are added to the work staging area or not. If you see here, there are no commits yet and we are on the branch master. Master is a default branch which will be created when we initialize a new git new git repo. Someone call it as a master, someone call it as a main. The name doesn't differentiate between master or main. So here, if we see here, there are untracked files, which means in the working directory we have some files which are not tracked by the git. To know or to tell the git, like to take care of this file, what are the changes are being happening in this particular file, we need to include it into the staging area. For that we can use git add and file name. So that we can use git add and file name is hello.txt. Okay, after adding the particular file you can see its status using the git status. Okay, that means now you have created a snapshot for the particular file. If you see here, we are on the branch master and there are no commits yet on this master branch. There are some changes which are yet to be committed. That means we have few files which are in the staging area which are not committed, which are currently in the staging area only. Here it is showing like git remove hyphen hyphen cached file name to unstage. To move the file from staging area back to the working directory, we can use this particular command. Okay, if you see here, git log at present we don't have any commits, right? So that's the reason it is showing as empty. If you see here git diff, at present we don't have any particular file committed, there are no changes, so that we will get is empty. One thing we can do is first we will remove this file from the staging area to working directory. Now if you see here git status, again we are in the branch master and this file is not tracked, it is in the working directory. So to use or to track the file we need to use again the git add command. So now if you use the git diff command, we don't have any particular snapshot to compare it with. So that's the reason we are not getting anything. So to add the file to the staging area from working directory, again we use the git add command, and to check the status of the file we use this, and to move the file from staging area to repository we use the command git commit. Here the commit required hyphen m, which means for every each and every commit we need to give a message or command to the code base or git. Here we are telling like it is a initial commit, then it will commit. Now if you see git status, again we are on the branch master and we don't have anything to get commit. If you see git diff, we don't have anything. If you see git log, we will see like the commit message, commit SHA-50 SHA-ID, SHA-value, which the head refers to the master. We will discuss about this head and master later. And here it will shows the author name, date, and this is the commit message. If you don't want to see all these details, just if you want to see one line, just you can use git log hyphen hyphen one line. It will describe in a one line only, just the git commit message and SHA-value. It don't display author, date, when it was committed and all. Generally This is like one portion, and we have the remote repository. For example, we may call it as like GitHub or Bitbucket or anything you can consider, or cloud. Generally, we have pushing from working directory to remote repository is nothing but push, and pulling the data from remote repository. It is fetch. If you use the pull command, pull is nothing but fetch plus open the files into the fetch plus sync. You can tell like syncing with the current working directory is nothing but pull. I think this has given you like an overview of Git. We will discuss in the later videos.